On Abbey Shores, where shadows play, the alley whispers night and day. In Abomination, alley's grip, where fear and danger tightly knit. Oh, the alley breathes a tale untold of secrets dark and hearts grown cold. Abbey streets, they'll pull you in to the depths where sin begins.
Hello, and welcome to Dire Bear. It's Tuesday night, so of course that means we're playing Abomination Alley, or BRP actual play. I'll be your storyteller for the evening, Jason, and with me, as usual, will be Sarah playing Vivian, Patrick playing Leo, Carr playing Teak, Eric playing Michael, and Jeremy playing Salvador. Now, we missed last week because of really bad weather in this part of the country. At least for most of us.
I got it yesterday.
So
I got it while I was on vacation, so
I'm getting it tomorrow.
So who remembers what
The
we were doing?
South!
Yes.
Yep.
So who remembers what we were doing 2 weeks ago?
Let's see. We had.
This halfling's
So
on
we had just
fire.
finished up. Yeah, we had. Yeah, because we were going to the downtime. And if I remember correctly, we had just finished up a side plot because we got into that hallway fight where we find out Anderson's a pyrokinetic on top of things.
It was a stairwell where the actual fighting took place.
Yeah. The halfling, not dwarf, is dead.
Yeah. Poor little fella. Never stood a chance. But yeah, you had prevented. He was clearly going after the. Oh, hang on a second.
Yeah, something's up with your audio on stream, Jason.
Is it choppy or am I sounding like I'm far away or something?
It sounds like you're far away, so it might be a different input.
Let me check that real quick.
Sounds, for what it's worth, it sounds good to us, but it's probably how you have it on stream.
Yeah. Yeah, in Discord you sound fine, but on stream it sounds like maybe another input.
Wow,
Or you
Jason,
have
why
something
does it-
coming through the speaker or echoing.
well, if you have a webcam, and that may have taken over as the default mic for the streaming software. It could be it could be a number of things, unfortunately.
All right, how do I sound now?
Give us 5 to 10 seconds to find out.
Okay, in the stream you sound good.
Okay. It had switched.
Had to just wait for the delay.
It had switched to default off of my snowball for some reason. Though the snowball should be the default, so I don't know. Hopefully we sound better now. So where was
Getting
I?
the
Oh,
technical
yes.
stuff out of the way early.
You jinxed it, Jason.
I did. And I thought about that when I said maybe it'll go smooth tonight, and yeah.
At least it was just that.
So y'all have been visiting Vasley in the hospital. You spotted the halfling. Blanking on his name at the moment. I know he was nicknamed Spike, but I don't know that y'all knew that.
Lilac probably did.
Now you'd figure it out talking to the police as time goes on, because he's kind of known in Chicago. Got the nickname
great.
because he killed a guy with a railroad spike one time. But yeah, y'all spotted him, but he spotted y'all spotting him. It was the whole thing. He tried to escape. You caught up to him in the stairwell. Big fight. And I think he attempted to shoot Lilac. Vivian took the hit. Michael did not take it well. And almost burned everybody up.
Everything's fine.
So y'all are a little weirded out. The police officer that witnessed it was very weirded out.
Gas leak, methane, something. Don't know how it happened.
Everyone else is burned to a crisp. Michael is pristine.
No, he's got burns too. It's just not.
Did he? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Michael
His clothing has burns.
epicenter.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
He himself was entirely unharmed, but there are patches of his clothing that were burned completely through.
Yeah. Okay. I remember that.
Almost in holes matching these weird runes on his body underneath them.
Damn, that's weird, bro. Well, we're gonna be going.
We're
Now, I believe y'all were going to have a meeting.
I think that was the plan, was to try and go back to the office before splitting up.
All right, because yeah, y'all did pretty well. Some of you had been injured, but it was all kind of just first aid stuff, you know. Some of the ER doctors had run up after the commotion had settled down and kind of, you know, worked on you. And of course, you had Leo there.
Yep.
So you get to your cars. There's some press outside, and you know they're shouting questions at you as you walk, but the police are kind of keeping them back pretty easy, or pretty well. All right, so you make it back to the office.
extra, read all about it.
Mysterious fire, more mysterious circumstances. Locals baffled.
Local DA, actually witch, burning at 11.
Lawyer witch burns self and others.
Self-immolation isn't going to be a thing for another. Never mind.
Florida man set himself on fire.
But we're not in Florida.
All right, but y'all make it back to the office without any issue.
Salvador's there with like a cup of tea.
Now, does Michael drive his car to the office, or does he let somebody else drive him?
They came in Teek's vehicle.
Did we
I
all
think
come
we
in
all
one
did.
vehicle, or did we come in separate ones to not get too suspicious?
I can't remember.
Yeah, I was thinking.
Well, I
y'all took
thought-
multiple vehicles.
I know we staggered our arrivals in the hospital. I don't know if we staggered vehicles.
Yeah, and Teek had like dropped people off like in different
Yeah.
places.
Okay, all right. You may have just used the Model Teak then.
But I can't remember if we used two or if we just used Teeks. I can't
We
remember.
might have just used Teeks, I want to say, because Michael's car is.
Stands out.
Yeah,
That's
it
fair.
stands out a little bit.
Teak's is not as much now.
Yeah, the Teek's not like.
There's no
Cranking
handcrank
it
sticking
in.
out the front of it, so it doesn't stick out quite as much. You know. Model Ts were, somewhat on their way out by this time.
He
but
still
they were still
has
a
it.
on the road.
He still has it just in case. Because I think in most of those cars you had both for a while, and then they went straight to electric.
T just doesn't quite trust the electric start yet. It kind of has to earn its trust.
All this newfangled technology.
Salvador is in the office with a mug a mug that says "World's Best Detective" on it.
That's fantastic.
I'm not sure if you
It's not
had
mine.
those sorts of mugs in the 20s.
Salvador
did
wrote it
not.
on the mug.
Okay, you probably had some
Carved it in
equivalent to
himself.
Sharpies. Or one of those
Yep.
wax pens.
Yep.
It's one of the mugs from downstairs that never quite made it back.
Just kind of look at everyone like, "Oh, you all made it back in." Looks up and down at Michael. Mostly one piece.
Yeah, some of the rest of them look a little singed, too.
Yeah. I think we said hair was singed on pretty much everyone,
Gotcha.
except for Tiku.
Except for Teak.
Has no hair. It has singed all of Teek's hair off.
Teak has to get a new hat.
So, what's with this?
This is fine. It's fine. This is all fine.
Are you telling me or are you telling yourself?
Yes, as she flops into a chair.
Lilac's like, there was a fire at the hospital.
A fire?
Yeah, our hitman's dead. He burned up.
Okay.
You notice Lilac does not look particularly singed.
Yeah. Does
Probably good because she has like probably 2 hit points.
yeah.
He coughs. A little smoke falls out, like floats.
Does
the fire
Vivian
lizard.
have any? Does Vivian have a visible bullet wound?
It's probably patched up, but she
there's a
probably has
visible
some kind
patch
of
somewhere.
yeah.
It caught you
She might
kind
have-
of in the shoulder.
So there would be a bullet wound in your clothing.
Yeah, there'd be some blood on the clothing. It's probably the bandage is up underneath the clothing, but it's probably a little bulkier. You could probably tell.
This is fine.
If I had to guess the chain of events, that and then everything else.
Lilac's like,
She's-
yeah, she's like, yeah. V got shot.
See that?
He was trying to shoot me, and then she like dove on top of me. Oh, and she backhands your ear basically. So it's like the equivalent of somebody
Ow.
thumping your ear.
Sure.
Okay.
And don't do that
I don't-
again.
Sure.
Okay,
To
okay,
Vivian.
but I'm just saying, a bullet against me is a lot smaller than a bullet against you.
But I'm harder to hit because I'm smaller.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you get hit, it's a lot worse.
Anyway, she dove on top of me, got hit, and then there was all this fire. I couldn't see what was going on.
And then you see Teak think about it. It's like, do they make fairy wheelchairs?
In this world, probably.
Yep.
She'd have to survive. She's at the size I think a bullet would pretty much separate pieces of her.
Yeah, but if
What's
it
the
hit her
size of one of her
legs,
major
if it hit
organs?
low enough and it hit just her legs.
Have you ever
I
seen
mean,
a baseball
And all,
game where the pitcher throws the ball and hits a bird on the way to the plate?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I've also seen a basketball player just like slap a bat out of the air.
Look, all of you, I took a drink when you did that.
That was your own fault. That's a dangerous game.
Drinking anything with this group is a dangerous game.
And Lilac kind of leans around Vivian's face. How are you doing over there, Michael? You've been a little quiet.
He just kind of shrugs.
So, a fire at the hospital. Was anybody else hurt besides our hitman?
Lilac just sort of gestures to all the singed-looking people with obvious singes on their clothing.
thankfully, I'm okay.
Nobody has any major burns. It looks like it's just your clothes, and if your clothes get burned, that's probably the best thing that happens to you in an infernal.
I think we said it was like what 2 or 3 points of damage.
7.
Huh?
It was 7.
Oh, just 7.
Just 7.
And that's only because I managed to make the roll to rein it in. Otherwise, it would have been going off with 5d6 damage.
It really only took the halfling out because he'd already been beat up so much.
Yeah, Teak tried to elbow drop him. And failed.
I still wish that could have gone off because that would have been amazing.
Everyone would be dead, but it'd be fantastic.
I'm just talking about the elbow drop.
Oh yeah, no, that would have been fantastic.
Save it for the next time y'all run into the brew.
So
Cobalt elbow of justice.
When was the suplex invented? God dang it.
way a long time before that. That was like carnival. That's like carny times.
Aren't the 1920s carny times?
Anytime
Yeah,
is
like
carny
older-
times if you
older
try
than
hard
that.
enough.
I mean, not wrong.
So I think Salvador looks at everyone and goes, so what's next?
Well, I think we have to meet with the chief
Well,
tomorrow.
We also need to still get in touch with the tracker in order to hunt down what we suspect's the brew out on the park.
Okay.
All right. So you've caught Salvador up. Kind of listed a couple things you need to do.
Say, Michael pointedly is not really talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, he looks like he's about like this close from just bolting out of the room.
Should somebody drive him home?
I got
You
it.
can do it.
I'll walk him home.
Either or. That works too.
Unless you drove here. Did you drive here?
I did.
Fantastic. Then you can drive me home. I shouldn't be walking.
So we need
1950s,
a plan
early
B.
2000s for suplexes.
Interesting. That's probably in the context of professional wrestling.
Yeah, but like that, all I can find is about it being introduced into professional wrestling. It doesn't give me a date prior to that.
Fair
So
enough. Fair enough.
It's not really
Oh,
something
no.
you'd use in a real fight. Yeah.
So we're just like, do we all need to go buddy system right now? Or is it specifically you guys?
Well, Lila's like, the hitman's dead. I'm hoping to sleep in my own bed tonight.
Okay, I will be back at some point because we're now under a tornado warning.
Oh, fun.
Godspeed.
Again?
The South, everybody.
The South.
Yep, flash flood
Yep,
for
we all
my area.
shifted.
Yep. That always happens when y'all turns the camera off.
Yep.
Usually it's Patrick that does it, but you know.
it was the tornado. We'll blame the tornado.
We're just gonna be playing the violin on the Titanic right now.
Aren't we always?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. I'll save that for after show. That'll take too long.
Uh,
All right, so you all get home without issue. We'll sort of skimp over talking to the police. Basically, is there anything you're not going to tell the police?
I got nothing. I genuinely don't know what happened, so I'm gonna keep it that way.
Teak was like,
I already talked to the police at this stage
Yeah.
because it was just
I
like,
think
Yeah, they
we
wanted a full
encountered-
report.
we
You
stopped-
talked to him briefly.
yeah.
Vivian will say her back was turned and something exploded.
And what does Teak say?
Teak was. I mean, he's not going to leave anything out. I mean, he has no idea what happened outside of Halfling started shooting, tried to stop him, and then suddenly fire. Because he was looking at the Halfling, not at Michael.
None of us really know for sure that Michael exploded. He didn't say he did. And nobody asked him.
Well, the police chief does have the report of the police officer that was watching it through the door window.
There was a lot going on.
But I guess he would more ask Michael that specifically, so we'll find out later what Michael did or did not explain to him. Then we're going to go into the downtime. So you had 2 weeks of downtime. And Leo and Salvador, during that 2 weeks, you have no problems calling up the trackers and getting some of them, taking their dogs out and hunting around.
Do we find anything?
Over the 2 weeks, they find more tracks. Some of the dogs will catch a whiff and then refuse to follow the trail. Which was something the police had mentioned had happened. Even with some dogs trained to track bear, it's like they catch a whiff of the brew and they're like, no, just go. But you get a few a few of the hunters that can get the dogs going. In the second week, they report back to you that they found basically an abandoned campsite. And it is in that forested area over here, properly labeled forest.
Yeah.
And from there, they track some more, and it sort of loops back up to the north until you get to the actual shore here.
So it's to the north of us, apparently.
Like the camp was in the middle of the forest, but they follow some more trails away from that. And right at the shoreline, there's several of the what you're assuming is brew footprints, as well as prints of people wearing shoes.
Any obvious places where like a boat came up?
We will get to that after finishing the. Yes, there is, but we'll get to. I'll fill in more details, as I assume you would run out and look at it yourself at that point.
Yep.
So during the 2 weeks, is there anything you want to train? Oh, Eric's back already.
Yeah, he's
Oh.
Yeah, so the warning is active for the county, but it's to the north of us
Okay. Real good.
so far.
I mean, I hope nothing hits those people either. But...
Yeah.
Okay, so to jump back just a second, when you talk to the police the next day, is there anything Michael's going to try to conceal from them? How does Michael explain it?
Depends on what questions they ask.
Well, everybody else is kind of, this fighting the thing, and then there was an explosion, and, we didn't really, Vivian had her back to it, covered in lilac.
Deke was focused on the halfling, didn't see you explode.
I was tracking in the woods. I have no idea what the hell happened.
Unless specifically asked about that, he really doesn't bring it up.
There was a police officer that was watching through the window in the door. So the police chief does literally bring up the whole, one of my men said you essentially burst into flames. He said he saw glowing, there was holes burned through your coat sleeves. He saw glowing. He said it was like letters he didn't recognize. I kind of thought you were the normal one. Is there something we need to know?
He's quiet for a while.
Mr. Anderson?
I'm not sure how to explain it, really. I know the mechanics of it, because I was surrounded by it as a child, but...
Surrounded by what?
how much do you know of the goings on in Chicago?
We keep up with a little bit. Like the hitman in question was from Chicago.
Mhm.
I didn't recognize his name right away though, but we have files on him. I could name off a few of the top gangsters in the area.
Is this on or off the record?
So far, this has all been on the record. Hmm. You've done pretty good earning some trust from him. He makes a motion, and like the other people in the room all leave, so it's just you and him in the room. But what do you need to tell me off the record?
My family is one of the most well-known criminal organizations in Chicago. To the point that even the real big names of the Italian mafia are terrified of them.
You're related to those Andersons. I had not made the
Yes.
connection.
I am.
Does your boss know this?
Other than a very, very select few. You're one of the very few I've actually mentioned this to. I ran when I was younger, and I kept running, and I didn't look back.
I see. That could definitely cause some consternation in the government if they found out. They found out one of Chicago's roughest crime families, had a man in the DA's office.
I'm not there. Like, he... his emotions, like, spike really hard, and then he bites, like, his lip, and...
You get just loud enough that there's a knock on the door. Is everything okay in there, Chief? Oh, yeah, we're fine. We're fine. Give me... What is it in this one? I know there is something for... Persuasion. Give me a persuasion roll.
Did I see all the pings suddenly pop up at once? Okay.
All right. So the chief nods. Okay. Well, I believe you. You've always played straight with us.
The short version is there was a ritual that my parents were attempting. I, until yesterday, did not know that it was successful. I thought that it had failed.
And they tried this on you when you were a child.
I was 15. The aftermath was you really don't want to know what the smell of a burning human being is like when it is permanently seared into your memory.
He goes, I've had to investigate some fires when as that's coming up before us.
No,
I have
I don't.
some idea what it smells like.
I don't mean investigating it. I mean when it happens. It's not something I can ever forget.
Was that how they died?
Yes.
So it would be what? Siblings, cousins, or something that's running the Anderson family now?
My 2 older siblings. That's why I asked this was off the record, because if this goes on the record and news gets down there,
It might draw their attention up here.
there's no might about it. It absolutely will.
You realize running around with your little gang, you're making news doing that.
I'm aware, but as long as it was just me, maybe they wouldn't care. But with that ritual apparently being successful,
So it'd be best if we didn't. Crap.
yeah.
My officer's probably already talked to people. He was a little shook up by it.
Imagine.
I'll suggest the boys keep it to themselves, but I can't guarantee anything in that regard.
Better than nothing.
And we'll cut there. He gets you back on the record to finish. Filling out what will look like a perfectly normal report if somebody comes looks at it later. Now, for the downtime, you have 2 weeks. Let's see. We'll start with Leo. What are you doing in your downtime?
One of the things I will be, in other words, reaching out or trying to get in touch with let me pull up that character. Who was that guy I actually trained that spell with?
John Crow, I believe.
Yes. And, actually, wait, we had to have a face-off mentally. I was thinking about raising my POW, but I remembered you had to actually have someone like a will off or something for that to happen.
Yep.
So
Spells do that. Fighting spirits do that.
yeah, I will, because I wanted to learn, particularly when it came to when we were fighting that water elemental, I wanted to learn dispel magic.
Okay.
Because if I could have broken the hold of whatever that was controlling it, that might have been useful.
Yeah, it might have been. Might have put a quicker end to the fight. All right. So you go and during your 2 weeks. You go talk to John.
Because I'm looking for, because I know you with spirit magic, you basically have to find a spirit and gain it from that.
Correct. Let's see here. And you kind of go like astral out of body to do it.
Yeah.
Which is its own little ritual. So give me a persuasion roll as you're convincing John to help you do this again. Basically, to help you do this to get the dispel, as opposed to spending that time to learn the ritual so you can do this stuff yourself.
Yeah, because that was the other option I was gonna do. I had to basically find a spirit or something like that. So let's go to character sheet, and my persuade is garbage if I remember correctly. It is. That's. Oh, it's not as bad as it could have been.
Yep. Are you going to burn any luck to, or
Well, I'd rather not.
Fair enough.
I'd rather, because I'm gonna actually, if I can't get his help, I will actually attempt to study to actually more or less go on a spirit quest to find a spirit to actually help me.
find the, sorry, I'm trying to find where the what the name of the ritual is that you need. Because the ritual is something that you could just be taught, I believe. Let's see. Okay, I'll have to find it again later. I know I looked at it several weeks ago, and now I can't figure out where I found it at. Oh, that's right. Ceremony is a skill. I don't know if it's on your sheet or if you have to put it in as a custom.
I have ritual. That's a different thing for me. So.
Power voice during a ceremony ritual that requires an hours to complete.
Yeah, I have rituals. That's what I got.
Okay, if you've got that skill, that is what we're looking for then.
All right.
So let me roll to see if John is successful at teaching you. You know, kind of like when Salvador was teaching people guns. Let me find his stats.
So I started blasting.
I fired and I missed.
You fired again. I missed again.
Went on for several hours.
That's not incorrect.
All right. So he has got a 75 in his teach. He rolled a 74. So he did get a success, but only barely.
Oh.
And this allows you to make an experience check for the or an improvement check for the ritual.
All right, so I just roll it and see if it goes up.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back to that. Of course.
All right. So a week of training, you pick up the ritual you need. You can now kind of do the spirit quest thing yourself.
All right.
I mean, it doesn't hurt to have other people around. But...
Yeah.
So give me a roll for the ritual in the next week. Give me a roll for the ritual to see if you. We're just gonna use that to see if you manage to find a proper spirit.
Okay, so I have to roll again. All right, so I can't use the crit. Great.
That's not how this works.
Come on.
Hey.
Oh.
Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. Remember, with the experience checks, you want to roll above the skill, so the skill goes up.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I rolled a 2
Oh, I got
when I
you.
wanted
I got
it.
you. Yeah.
But I still rolled a success with what I had.
Whoopsie.
Yeah. All right. So yes. All right. We're gonna try to make this quick. Give me 3 power rolls versus the spirit's power.
All right. There it is.
Oh, it is pouring outside.
We'll use the resistant. Actually,
really
let's use the resistance table.
I really dislike how this,
Uh,
well, at least how the macro's set up. Give me a second. There it is.
So put your POW in one end of the resistance table, and we will put the spirits in the other.
Oh, sorry. Go back to resistance table.
Okay, you have to put the numbers in the resistance table.
Okay. So in my case,
put your skill or put your POW in. First.
I got it's 70. Then what am I rolling against?
Your POW would
or
not
just
be
roll it.
70. Your POW would be
It wouldn't be a luck roll in that instance.
Your POW. What is your POW score?
My POW is a 14.
All right, put a 14 on the resistance table. Put a 14
Oh,
in the first
okay.
box.
Okay.
Yeah. You're using your power to resist what they're doing.
Well,
Okay.
it's kind of like almost like a physical fight.
Because I was viewing it almost kind of like a luck roll because that's kind of how it.
Yeah, that's the easiest way I had to explain it because it's like you're resisting what they're doing with their POW or whatever to prevent it.
Well, that's
and then in the
21
second,
on that one.
And you have to put your POW in the first box, and then you put the spirit's POW in the second one.
And what's the spirit's POW?
The spirit's POW is 13.
Okay.
That's it hasn't updated.
Mine is.
That
says 14 versus 0.
That's what I got on my end.
I see what you're talking about. Yeah.
I think you have to click off of it first.
Maybe.
Okay.
Try it again. There
we go.
There we go. All right.
We got there.
Now click it 2 more times.
Yeah.
We're just gonna do a
Hey.
list of 3.
Hey.
Hey. Wasn't even close.
All right. So
It just kept getting better.
You just walloped it. So you now have the dispel spell.
Woohoo!
Vivian, what are you doing in your downtime? Other than healing up.
Well, since her hair probably got pretty singed, she's gonna go get that chopped.
How long was her hair to begin with?
About middle back.
Okay. So does she still have long hair, or does she go straight to the
She goes flapper bob.
Okay.
Like she's like, my parents are already pretty much consider me dead. Let's really put the cherry on the cake here.
Lilac thinks it's lovely.
So it's like, since you're now probably out of a job, do you want me to ask Michael if he needs any help? I mean, I know I forgot her name and I hate myself. What was her name?
Dorothy.
Dorothy. We could maybe help Dorothy out. Gossip with Dorothy. I don't know.
If he thinks if he's got any actual work for me, I don't want charity. But if he's got some actual work, for me, sure.
I'll run it by him next time I see him. And she's gonna go. She'll go to the practices, of course, with the other folks for the club.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna go check in with the mermaid because she realized they haven't done that at all.
Okay, that's fair.
Just update them, get any updates from them.
They have not spotted anything particularly. They haven't spotted anything suspicious so far.
Did the information about the brew up north get passed on to the whole group?
Yes, I would have. Yeah, I would have passed that on. So,
Okay, she'll pass that information
So-
on about the brew.
so one, we know that not only do they have human helpers, they're also
Well, you discovered
Using
that at the
the
end of
water.
the second week, so that would have been after this meeting.
Okay.
okay. Sorry.
Yeah,
Once she got the information,
Right.
she would pass it on to him.
You would definitely know that they've been, tracks have been spotted up there, and y'all were looking for them at the initial meeting.
Yeah, she'll probably end up with like another meeting and pass that information on
Okay.
on the second week when she got it. And she will, however, I don't know how traditional Auntie Jen is, but she will arrange a meeting with Auntie Jen just to catch up on gossip,
Okay.
since they haven't really checked in with Auntie Jen in a while.
Auntie Jen's been very, she says what a good job she thinks your lot is doing. Defending the city against monsters. She's
Yeah.
been hearing rumors of brew in the north. She's a little nervous that the humans might start getting antsy, and if they can't find the brew to lash out at, they may lash out at others.
She'll pass on, and that they've got trackers and stuff, and they're gonna look into it, that kind of thing. And
Okay.
if she hears anything, she'll pass it on and ask if Auntie Jen passes on anything she hears.
Oh, she absolutely will.
As far as training, oh, why not? We'll try pistol training. Hey, I failed, which is what I wanted, I think.
Yeah. On the experience roll, you need to roll above your skill.
Fantastic. Is it still a D6 for downtime training, or is it less?
No, it's still a D6, or you can pick 3.
Take 3 or do D6.
Okay.
Okay.
And she'll basically just check in when she's not doing that or at her job. She'll check in on everyone else throughout the 2 weeks.
Okay.
Make sure that Anderson doesn't disappear into a hermit.
All right, Teak, what do you do in 2 weeks of downtime?
For the first week, Teak is not in Abbey Shores.
How
Blaze?
dare you?
Teak is visiting family in I don't know what state they would be in. I can't think of that, but he's visiting family outside of Abbey Shores.
Okay.
For the week. So that week, if possible, he would train with his brother, who's a hunter-gatherer type. He does leatherworking kind of stuff. So he would be helping him spot, just spot out animals and things with his brother.
Okay, so you're training your spot skill by going out by having your brother teach you how to hunt, essentially.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
Gotcha.
And then on the second week, Teak will go to the gym and train boxing, and he also has a job for Lilac.
Well, she's looking for work, so.
Yeah. So let's do the rolls first. No.
The one time you roll good.
So just like Patrick, you rolled a 2.
Yeah. Okay. Let's try the brawl. Let's see what happens with that. Yay!
All right, so the brawl doesn't go up at least.
Hey.
By 5. All right, and what work do you have for Lilac?
He is going to ask her to check on Lillian McCarthy, make sure she's okay.
All right, that seems easy enough. Lilac, would wonder why you don't just do it.
She lives in the same complex as the Orc Mafia, and I'm kind of staying away. for obvious
Oh.
reasons. Yeah. So
And she's like, all right. What message
I
do you want me
appreciate it.
to? Are you? Am I delivering a
Well,
letter, or are you just want me to pass a message?
just pass a message saying, Teak hopes you're doing okay. Just make sure she's doing fine. Teak doesn't have a letter or anything.
You know,
Very basic.
Lilac's perfectly fine with doing that.
He'll give the address and everything, so she doesn't like have to fight to find it.
She quizzes you. Okay, will it be fine if I just show up and say I need,
Yeah.
speak to so and so, or I just
Usually,
go use the elevator?
usually just say you're there to see Miss McCarthy. They'll ask you why, and you just basically just catching up with an old friend, pretty much, and they'll send you up.
All right. So she delivers your message. She comes back and says, "Oh yeah, didn't have any trouble getting there. It's not like she would be sneaking in a firearm or anything."
No. Very hard for
I'm just picturing her trying to carry a pistol.
I mean, if it's anything like having the sneak stat in Fallout New Vegas capped out, you could sneak an entire arsenal's worth of weaponry into a casino.
But so yeah, she reports back. Oh yeah, got there no problem. I explained why I was there. She invited me in. We had some tea. She was asking me how you were doing.
He smiles.
Yeah, I mean, we probably talked a couple of hours.
Yeah, that's Miss Lillian.
No, she's your friend. Why do you keep saying Miss instead of just Lillian?
Mafia days. Kind of. She's their accountant, so because I was just a grunt, she was technically higher in the food chain than I was, so I just stuck with Miss Lillian.
Oh, okay. Well, she seemed rather fond of you.
He just shrugs. He's like, you
Apparently,
saved one person.
Apparently, she'd gone by your old apartment at some point, but you weren't there.
Yeah, well, for various reasons, I chose to move into a new place.
Yeah, she asked me if I knew where it was, but I didn't.
I thought
I don't think Lilac would know.
it depends on if Vivian or if she was in. I can't remember if she was in the office when he told everybody, or if Vivian might have said something. I don't think Vivian would have said anything, but
Vivian knew he moved, but didn't know where.
yeah.
She just knew it was closer, like in between his
Okay.
work and the office.
So
He would have told. Yeah, he would have told the group like where he lived in case like they needed to find him, but unless they said something to Lilac.
Lilac probably has caught wind that you moved, but not the street address.
Okay, yeah.
But she's like, well, you need me to send any more messages, or arrange for y'all to meet at, I don't know, a diner or something.
Tico laugh
people.
and Tico laugh and he'll just smile and he'll say maybe later, but not right now, and he'll pay her generously for delivering it.
Ooh, she's like, ooh, I almost feel guilty taking this, but she pockets it.
Well, you did a job for me. I mean, I'm gonna pay you for it.
All right, is there anything else?
I think that's it.
Okay. Salvador,
Howdy.
what do you spend your 2 weeks doing?
I think he spends the first week, like in between tracking, he'll spend the first week getting going back to the old Sarge and brushing up on his leadership skills.
Oh, that's right. You had him teaching you how to teach people.
Yes.
Teach me to teach, Sarge.
Mm-hmm. Like, I think at this point, the Sarge is like noticing actual improvement on from Salvador, from that transition from like grunt to like, you know, somebody who was in charge of a platoon.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, go ahead and give me a roll on your. Sarge made his roll, his teach roll. So give me a
6. Let's go.
Whoa! You've got to make the experience check.
Oh, that's right. 6. Let's
Hey.
go.
Indeed.
Just
All
roll
right.
a single digit.
Skip a step and let's go.
All the rolls were made. Maybe not in order, but they were all made. All right. So yeah.
Excellent. And then on, I think the second week, he's I think he sends some I think he sent some more correspondence back home in, and he sends something, I think, that Teak might have accidentally left behind at Salvador's apartment. Just as a sort of like, you know, this is what I've been up to, checking in with the folks, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Teak
You
would have.
mentioned, you mentioned
what do you think she
hitmen
would
and
have
fires
left?
and hospitals.
No,
Well,
I
Teak,
don't know anything about it, so I'm not
Oh.
going to mention anything I wasn't there firsthand for.
Oh, fair.
so sorry, what was the question?
What would Teak would have left at Salvador's apartment? What, like, little knickknack or something?
Teak would have left a trying to think. He would have left a necklace, but I'm trying to think. There's a car part. There's a small car part, but I can't think of the name of it. It's not a cog. I know that. We're not in steampunk age. But there's a small car part like attached to the necklace that he probably left, and he just hasn't thought about it. So
Yeah, just as a little, like, I promise I'm alive. Look at this trinket I found in my room while I was cleaning.
Okay.
Well, I hope that was not an important necklace for Teak.
Well, it kind of was, but
It's too late.
Yep.
Salvador just straight. Oh, he left it. It must not have been that important.
Yeah, pretty much. It's
fine.
less that. It's more Salvador. It's not like feng shui, but like, this is my stuff in my room, and I want to keep it that way.
This is mine now.
Well, this is not mine, so I'm putting it away. I'm taking it somewhere else.
This does not
Yeah, it's
spawn
fine.
joy.
Yeah. And I think this would have lined up with just before Teak got back from being out of town. Like, I think Salvador would have asked around, like, "Hey, has anyone seen Teak? Oh, no one's seen him. All right." So, as far as Salvador's concerned, he did his due diligence.
All right. And Michael, what do you do for 2 weeks?
Well, there's a few things. So, for training purposes, he's going to work on his pistol skill. So if you want me to go ahead and roll that just to get it out of the way.
Okay. And you were going and paying. You were just paying somebody at a range.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
So. Cool.
Yep. Okay.
All right, goes up by 4.
So you're gradually getting a little bit better at it.
Yep. Now, non-skill related. He writes a letter and sends that to Vivian. But
It
he
immediately gets intercepted by Lilac, probably.
but he will also get the band together, as it were. Probably on week 2 when
Teak is back.
Teak is back. Yeah.
Teak would have told everybody like he's
Yeah.
got to go somewhere.
But specifically, they're invited to his home.
All right.
All right, so everybody rolls into the home. Is Lilac
And I
invited?
say, yes, Lilac is invited.
Is Dorothy there? Or do you make sure she's not?
If she shows up, she shows up.
If she was vaguely aware about it, she'd be there.
Mm-hmm. Of course, I say this while Patrick is gone.
All right. So yeah, apparently Dorothy never caught wind of it.
Okay. We'll say like in the home, like yes, it's a very affluent house.
Well, they've been to
But
your
there's-
house before, haven't they? Or do
They
they
have
only
not.
ever show up at your office?
They've only showed up to his office, and they've never been to his house. But among the human affluence, there's bits and pieces of like the group there. There's like influence of like like Spanish sort of like plant life, horticulture, things like that, sort of for Salvador, since he's mentioned that stuff. Sort of like a music area for Vivian. There's a area for like tools and like car stuff for Teak. There's some like shamanistic kind of things that are more orcish in nature for Leo that he sort of like has scattered around the house. As like the group kind of slowly has been invading his space, basically. But he does like get everyone together in the living room with like tea and coffee or whatever, and it's like, so I believe I owe you all an explanation.
I think I know most of this.
You do, yes. Salvador, you learned. Oh, good, Patrick, you're back.
Yeah.
TLDR. Group got called. Michael invited them to his house to have a talk. There's little bits and pieces referencing like everybody in the group's kind of like culture that have kind of invaded his home, basically. So there's like orc shamanistic stuff and like a totem or two, like kind of in a spot in his house, like specifically for Leo. So this is hard to talk about.
The fact that it seems to have something for everyone in our group, that screams trap to me.
It's his house. Okay.
Yeah, it's Michael's house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's still a trap. Congratulations, he's the big bad.
Congratulations.
Suddenly
He has a
explodes.
museum.
Yeah.
I cast fireball. I didn't say how big the room was.
Yeah. There's a lot of eyes in that sentence. So to preface this, I did not know that it had succeeded. The event at the hospital proved me wrong, but some background. I am initially from Chicago. And my family, the Andersons, are one of the most notorious crime rings of the city. To the point that even some of the really big names of the Italian mob are scared of crossing them.
Oh, so you're related to those Andersons.
Lilac's nodding her head too.
I hear that a lot.
Teak is unfazed.
I'm
Oh no, he's involved with mobsters.
I'm
And he's just like, and Teek's just like, wait, you guys didn't know that?
He's like, same hat.
I'm the youngest.
He actually leans over to Vivian. And he's like, "Is he turning into a flame elemental?"
All right. Let's
Um,
let's give Eric time for Michael to do his
Yeah.
speech.
Alex, I'm showing you muted.
Let's
for
give
some
Michael
reason.
time to do his speech.
No, it's
I'm the youngest of 3 siblings. And an important thing to note, I've kind of always had power. It's something that humanity has had long before the folk showed up on Earth. It's inherent to our species, our race, and not something that any of you can learn. There's a lot of names for it. My siblings and I, we've always called it psionics. But it's basically the ability to wield power simply by force of will, as opposed to training or study. There are 2 that I've always kind of known. One being something I'm kind of known for, my memory. The ability to have absolute perfect recall. And I can go back as far as I need to. Another you all have benefited from in the past. It's kind of colloquially known as aura detection, but it allows scions to see things that are beyond normal human sight. Magical aura, curses, possession, if people are ill or waning, or if they're good or bad or obfuscating or hiding things, if they're under some kind of magical influence, it allows us to see those things. What happened at all that is background information. What happened at the hospital is a result of an experiment conducted by my parents on me when I was 15. They were trying to find a way to take the magic of the folk, combine it with the psionic power of humanity, and basically find a way to harness the magic of the folk with that same kind of force of will that scions use their powers. It did not end well. I did not know it had succeeded, and I know how to wield fire. But the resulting ritual at the very least, killed my parents, and either wounded or killed many others that were also involved. I don't know how many. I just ran, and I kept running north until I couldn't run north anymore. And I just kind of hit the water, which brought me here to Abbey Shores. Yes, Salvador. Unless that was you just stretching.
No, that was Salvador raising his hand.
As Salvador,
Okay.
It's like there's a moment going on, and he doesn't want to break the tension, but also it's like waiting to be
like
called on.
as Michael continues, you just see Salvador's hand slowly raise higher and higher.
There was a larger fire in Chicago way in the 1800s. Is that related? Unrelated?
Unrelated. This was 16 years ago.
Okay. I know. I figured you're not that old. I don't know how humans. I still don't really know how humans age. No offense. Just
Jason, I sent you the thing with, and I'll explain it in a minute to the rest of them. Would that come up in the histories that he learned about stuff that his family had been involved in? Like, were they responsible for that?
the 2-day Chicago fire in the 1800s.
Yeah.
It was a slow burn.
No, they would not have been involved with the Great
Okay.
Chicago Fire.
No, my family wasn't involved in that.
Okay, I just you said fire, so just crossing off all the lists, seeing how big the fire can get.
It can get fairly big, I guess. You probably saw the runes that were on me. Well, some of them did. You weren't there, I know.
I saw the runes, but I knew of some of these abilities as I have actually learned about them. So, at least concerns what I suspected about you.
Which brings me to another point. Depending on how widespread this gets, or if I need to start using my gifts more openly, there's a very real chance my family could take interest and come north.
Are they all pyrokinetics?
No, it's just me. My older brother and sister are both very dangerous in their own way. And both of them are scions. Stronger than I am in the arts. We were supposed to operate sort of as a trio. I was kind of the repository of knowledge, the learned one, the one that kind of had everything put together. My sister Rachel, she can divine the future, see things that have yet to come to pass and plan around them, the one that was supposed to guide the family, and is a terrifyingly good markswoman. She has kind of been known to people who cross her to lead them into traps of her own devising and then just mopping up what's left. My eldest brother, Adam, he's a very large man. Think almost 7 feet and 300 pounds of pure muscle. And as Emergency Alert Extreme goes off for National Weather Service for tornado warning, which means after this I'll probably have to go. And there's the siren. He can affect minds, incite violence, cripple people with a thought. And I'm going now because apparently the tornado is coming right at us. So
Godspeed.
Godspeed.
Good
Later.
luck.
Then we will jump to the end of the 2 weeks. Which is when y'all are notified about the them finding where the boat was and all that. Do y'all roll out to check it out?
Yes.
Sure.
Minimum
Yeah.
me and Doc.
Dorothy catches wind of this expedition and insists on going with you.
Of course she does.
So you go and you meet one of the trackers. And he shows you the abandoned campsite they found. He tells you the police have already been over and kind of looked the thing over. There was a cooking pit. They found some bones that they have not identified yet. But he's like, they were busted up and chewed on and all kinds of stuff. He goes, but I don't recognize what animal they were from. But I got suspicions. But the police are having a doctor look at them to try to figure it out.
Do we want to investigate?
So the actual bone. Okay, so that's they're not in front of us now. Okay,
No.
gotcha.
You're at the campsite. The police have
Police
already
have
taken all
taken
that stuff away.
Okay.
And then he leads you up north. He shows you. By and again, the police have this spot roped off as well, and they've been in there. They've made casts of the footprints. But go ahead and give me spot checks while you're there.
Let's see if I can actually succeed on this. Oh my god!
Spot.
Oh my god, I succeeded.
Woohoo!
Oh, she brought a roll for Dorothy.
Someone roll for Michael.
Nah, he's not here.
Huh.
He's T-posing in the background.
Maybe he's in court.
Or they got him on cases again.
T-pose for dominance.
So yeah, you see, it was at least 3 separate brew individuals, just based on size of prints. You can see where they, pulled a small boat up. One that would hold, probably, 6 to 8 people. In addition to the brew prints, there are footprints that, it's clearly somebody wearing a shoe. And just based on the shape, you would say probably, a more of a dress shoe, not really a casual. Now I think about it, they didn't really have sneakers or anything back then.
Well, casual
Yeah.
would be like a what do you call them? Loafer or something?
Yeah.
And he said, when they found this, he thinks it was relatively fresh. Probably wasn't more than a couple days old when they found it. He don't know if that means they moved, when they realized people were in the woods looking for them, if they moved. And, he gestures towards one of the, clearly human footprints, or person footprints. I got no idea who'd be helping him. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be anybody human.
It might be. Because remember, we encountered. Because that summoning circle was not made by them when we found it.
Well, this is the hunter talking. He don't think it'd be anybody human that would do it.
Yeah.
Well, stranger things have happened.
He's like, yeah, I guess. Especially in certain parts of town.
Salvador,
He goes, this is pretty strange for up here, though.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. Salvador will take out his rifle out of his gym bag to have it like more ready.
I know. I've
Strap
got
him
the
back.
BAR already, like on my shoulder.
You tracker
You
guys
never-
like, kind of like, ooh, that's a nice gun. He goes, I'm pretty sure they're not still around, though.
Yeah, Teak still has him on his guns on his sides.
Better to have what you don't need than need what you don't have.
Mhm.
And he's like, we discovered this, day ago or whatever. He goes, we can keep poking around in the woods if you want us to, if you're willing to pay us to. But we really haven't found any other trails. Me and the boys figure they've skedaddled. Now, where they'd be going in a little rowboat, I don't know. But
Is there any landings just north of here that you know of?
he's like, hey, in a rowboat like they've got, you could put ashore about anywhere. There's some rocky areas you need to be careful not to scrape the bottom of the boat, but
Is there anything in the boat?
no, they found where the boat had been drug up on land.
Yeah, but is there anything specifically in the boat?
Well,
No, the boat's not here.
The boat's
Oh,
not there.
sorry.
It's
Just
a
found
mark.
evidence where it was,
Sorry, I thought the boat was there. Sorry.
They're assuming the brew were picked up by the boat.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But so they just they could put ashore about anywhere. Don't know how far they were going to go in a rowboat, but they could have had a larger boat, out in the lake.
How far out does this stretch go? From if you had to go from here to just straight as a crow flies?
Oh, straight. You mean like just straight north from here?
Yeah. The brew are unnaturally resilient, so it stands to reason if that even on a little rowboat they could cover distance.
Bobbing over the bridge.
They're not really subtle, so this would make sense too. So
yeah.
All right, so going straight north. Okay, they would hit another piece of Minnesota before, or they'd hit a piece of Minnesota before they hit Ontario. That's a lot of, in a rowboat, that's a lot of water to cover.
just want to make sure.
Now, there are islands out in Lake Superior.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we call them lakes, but they're basically inland seas. They're just freshwater.
Yeah.
How is there any inhabitants, or are those?
Well, it depends on the size of the island.
Even a small island could.
Because you got Outer Island and Stockton Island and Michigan Island. Those are all kind of over close to the kind of their own little peninsula over here. And you can go north and angle. Those are some of the larger ones. There's smaller ones that are like privately owned that people have a home, might have a home on. People that really like to be alone or have more money than sense.
Yeah. Or
both.
A lot of money, and well, if they have more money and sense, they wouldn't be dealing with brew, so that makes sense.
I know I didn't get a particularly good look at our spell crafter before I crippled his arm permanently. But from the spot roll that I rolled to see him, did he look particularly affluent?
You have no idea on the boat. He was too far away.
Okay.
And then when you found him dead in the apartment, I look pretty middle class. The apartment wasn't very well furnished, but it was probably just a safe house.
Yeah.
But you had found out he was basically a hired gun type guy, so it's more likely he'd have been hired by someone affluent.
Fair enough. But this someone also had a boat. Multiple boats at this point. I mean, I imagine it's easy to get a boat around here because there's a big lake.
There's all kinds of boathouses.
But one person owning so many, you would think you only need one, unless it gets shot, I guess.
Well, there's places where you can rent them, is what the hunter's telling you.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah. That's actually how we found the boat of when the water elemental attacked.
Do they keep a paper trail of that?
Yeah, that's how you got the address for where the guy lived.
Yeah, that's how.
Yeah.
Well,
I can't remember. Were you there that day?
I was not.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
Yeah. Y'all did that investigation, or they did that investigation. That's how they tracked the guy down to his apartment.
That makes more sense.
Then would it stand to reason that this? We'd have to ask the person, "Hey, you see any weirdos come by lately?" And that doesn't seem like a.
Just you.
I mean, yeah.
Dorothy is walking around taking pictures of everything. One of those big cameras. With the big flash thing you hold on the side.
Yeah.
Also known as really those only kind of cameras you'd have. At least the more professional kind, because Polaroids, like the smaller ones, did exist.
Jake looks over one time and gets blinded.
Learned my lesson the first time.
Oh, the one time dark vision betrayed me!
Well, the sun's up, so I don't know how much of the flash he'd be using.
Yeah, that's true.
She would have to have some kind of tripod, though, probably.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think you still had ones big enough, ones that reporters could carry.
Oh, yeah.
Photographers could carry around.
Yeah, because remember, the paparazzi, as we understand it, started during this time period, so.
Yeah. It looks like you guys beat me to that, though, so I don't know.
Oh, actually, you had some reasonably sized ones. You even had a few that weren't really all that much bigger than what we had when I was a kid. But
I think it was showing me the big gallery ones for some reason.
Yeah. Now the one she's got is like a professional grade. Lower end professional grade. You're not necessarily sure where she got it. But she seems all excited to be using it.
It's a nice camera. I would be excited to use it too, but I'm also a photographer in real life, so gang.
So yeah, y'all look around a little more. At some point, Dorothy's kind of like, I don't want to rush y'all if if you're still finding stuff, but I got a date tonight, so I need to get back for much longer.
A date?
And I do that whole Spock cock eyebrow motion.
Well, I can't spend all my time hunting monsters.
I'd prefer it if you didn't.
A girl's got to get out and live a little bit.
If you need to borrow something flashy or you want to borrow any makeup, let me know.
If you need to borrow a sidearm, I got you.
She gestures to her purse. Oh, I'll have mine with me. Don't worry. I don't leave home without it anymore.
We could go to the range again sometime.
Yeah, we should.
If you are, yeah, it'd be fun. I'm feeling a little better about my ability to get through to people.
So y'all start heading back to the cars?
I think so.
But,
Yeah,
We've kind of
we're gonna
got what
have
we
to
got.
look up, like, what's. But one, we now know they're actually being aided by locals.
it is an extra wrinkle. That is for sure. And as far as Vivian, as your offer of something flashy, she'll keep that in mind. Right now, she's going a little conservative.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Offer stands for any further dates.
It's like, he's from Georgia, so I'm not sure. Flashy might be a little too much for him.
The state or the country?
There's a country called Georgia? Huh.
Yeah.
It's just south of Russia.
Oh, okay.
Not too.
Yeah, I'm not really up on my Eastern European. No, the state.
All right.
He's a peanut farmer. Well, I mean, I don't think he does any farming. I think he hires a bunch of people that does farming. He owns some. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got you.
Peanut farmer
In the
gets
business.
Peanut farmer gets a snirk from Salvador.
What, you don't like peanuts?
I'm not from. It's hard to explain. The nuts in where I'm from are different.
Oh, yeah. Nobody tell Michael. I wouldn't want him to worry. He's got a lot on his mind. He gets overprotective anyway.
See, now you saying that.
Now it makes us worry.
Do we have to put the fear of God in some guy?
He's
Do I
been a
need to have
perfect-
Lilac tell you?
Oh, he's been a perfect gentleman so far.
Like I'll do the thing where I immediately change the subject and I kind of get control of this conversation and just be like, tell me about him. How did you meet? As we're like walking to the car and stuff.
Oh, she was at a club with some friends, listening to music. He walked up and started talking to them as a group, and then, I don't know. By the end of the night, it was just two of them talking.
Does she mention the club?
Yeah, she mentions the name of the club.
Does Vivian know of the club, considering her career?
Oh, sure. It's up in the more, in the mostly human part of town. It's a spot called Clearwater. It's not a super fancy place. It's a nice place, but not like super fancy.
Okay.
Growing up, Vivian would have looked at this place as slumming it, but it's not. But Vivian, young Vivian.
Current day Vivian.
Current day Vivian looks at it, it's like, okay, yeah, this is the middle of the road. It's fine.
Yeah, you won't get mugged. Probably.
Middle class place.
But yeah, that's how she met Aloysius.
Want to say by me again?
She goes, "What, Aloysius?"
Okay.
I think that's a name's more common down south.
It's less. It's less. My name is Salvador. You're not finding a Salvador around here. It's more committing it to memory.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure he probably goes by Al or something at some
Mhm.
point.
I don't think so. He seems to be,
A little bit more proper.
yeah.
Well,
I mean,
good on him.
maybe his good friends do. I don't know.
If it ever comes to pass, I'm sure one way or another we'll hear about it. But I wish you a good date.
Oh, thank you. We're going to the theater. I mean, like the real theater, not the motion picture.
Oh. Catch it to play?
Yes.
Which one are you catching?
You're going to make me look up plays in the 1920s, aren't you?
Yes.
We're on it.
Just finds the first one.
Is it a play or is it a musical?
It is a
Also,
play.
Universal Robots, which was actually the first time the word robot was ever used.
Oh, okay.
Robo.
Let's see. I've Googled 1920 stuff so much, and now when I start typing something in, half the time it'll just put
It
of the
autofills
20s
it.
behind it.
Yep.
There's apparently a lot of vaudevilles.
Yeah, vaudeville was still a thing.
Let's see.
Huh, I searched for 1920s and it's giving me 2020s. That's not what I asked for. The first year. It was a big Broadway hit, ran for 729 performances. So the theater scene in other cities are picking it up. She has no idea what it's going to be about.
I'll have to tell if it's worth seeing.
Oh yeah, she'll fill y'all in. Alright, so y'all get back into town proper. I mean, technically you didn't leave town, but you're kind of at the very edges. Newspapers are out.
Oh boy.
No.
Oh dear.
Well, yeah, this is 2 weeks later,
Sure, it's fine.
Is it the same guy that we've run into in the past?
Well, no, I'm just talking about the
guy we had
newspapers, not a newspaper.
Ah.
Not one of the guys, but the newsies are out selling their papers and stuff like that. And it's the 20s. Somebody in y'all's group will have picked up a paper. On the front page, it's not the big headline, but it is on the front page. They are talking about some disappearances and people disappearing up in the Highland Park area.
Okay.
Which, if you look on the map, is the place around the number 2 here.
Right. Which is still close to where the forest is.
And not too far away from the hoof prints.
Well, I wish you a very fortuitous date.
Because now it appears we've got more investigation to do.
It's like, oh, I hate that I'm going to miss that.
No,
Oh, well.
no.
When I fill y'all in on the date,
Go
y'all
on your
fill me in on
date.
the investigation.
It'll be an exchange of information.
Right.
Goodness knows this should be equitable.
All right, so she breaks off, and I forget if she got her own vehicle or she calls a cab.
Teak would offer to drop her off if she needed.
Oh yeah, that's fine. You know where you picked her up before, so you know where she lives.
Yeah. Teak offers if you ever need a ride, just ask.
Oh, thanks. That's really nice of you.
And if he treats you wrong, we'll bury him in cement. That wasn't said out loud.
Not even whispered to her.
She
Teak's
might
already
whisper it.
Teak's already said his piece. He's not gonna Push the subject.
Just because of her past, Vivian will say, "Look, if he lays a hand on you, I'll take it off of him. Just let me know."
She'll keep
I'm
it
the
in mind.
perfect height.
Just one very dramatic headbutt.
But she's meeting him at the theater, so
Where
She'll
is
be
the theater?
fine.
No, she rattles off where the theater's at. It's in kind of the northern part of Middleton over here.
Okay. So it's still
Not
close
too
to
close to the
Highland Park.
disappearances. It's fine.
Oh, that's blocks and blocks and blocks away.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, Jason. We've seen what you've done
Fine.
with blocks away.
It's fine. Don't worry.
This time you don't have nukes.
I've hit a boat from the middle of the from the coast to the middle of the river. Middle of the lake. I'll be fine. Just run it back again.
All right, so y'all drop her off, and then it's just y'all.
So we're not wanting her to do that by herself, right? That's a little.
You come in a
It's
little
a
low all of a sudden.
date.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
no, he is specifically saying that low, so I
Oh.
also was saying that low.
We have the guy's name. We have where they're going.
Bang.
If we're...
Did you get his full name or just his first name?
It's a unique
He just said
enough name.
Aloysius. Yeah. And if he's telling the truth, it's Aloysius, peanut farmer, adjacent from Georgia. They're going to see the first year at the theater. And I'm sure that they have like lists of times that the thing is showing. She's like, if you want, I can ask Lilac to follow her. But it seems a bit excessive.
Fine. Let's get on the manhunt then, or brew hunt. Sure.
Yeah.
Quick side adjacent question, Jason. How close is Vivian's parents' home to the disappearances? I don't remember exactly where the upper strange folk class is.
All right, I want to say they were living in Middleton.
Okay, so they are
They'd be
far.
like
They're further down in here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like I said, it gets their neighborhood is kind of butted right up against where the human neighborhoods start. Because the high end strange folk neighborhoods tend to be closer to the human neighborhoods.
Yep.
Yeah, with the exception of some of the orcs. But all right. So what do y'all do?
Ah. Well, let's actually, since we now know there are disappearances, would the local sheriff or the law office we spoke to earlier be in charge of this area as well?
Yes, I believe the Highland Park. I believe it was the Highland Park precinct that y'all were talking to about. They were the ones that making the casts of the stuff.
We get back in touch with them, and one, let them know that apparently locals are assisting them, and two, they may be involved with the disappearances.
All right. The desk sergeant whoever it is that answers phones, is jotting stuff down. Okay. What evidence do you have that the disappearances may be related?
Well, because disappearances occurred just before we discovered the brew the first time.
He's like, okay, so
And the trackers
not
we
evidence,
hired.
but a possible pattern. He's like,
Correct.
I'll pass this up the chain.
Too close.
Oh, did you have
Welcome
something
back.
come by?
It jumped over the house.
Like, actually?
Yeah, actually.
Holy smokes!
Yeesh.
I'm surprised. Did you lose power at all?
Nope.
Oh, wow.
The South.
Yeah.
Dorothy's going on a date. You weren't there. You don't know about it.
She has specifically
You're telling
asked
the planet.
that they not tell you about it.
Vivian will be telling you about it later.
After the fact.
She'll tell you the following day.
Oh, and to put the cherry on top, it's near the disappearances that are happening, up in the upper right of the map there. So yeah, just let that soak in while you wait for it to be told to Michael.
Also, even worse, the guy's name is Aloysius.
He's from Georgia.
Georgia.
He's a peanut farmer.
Okay. Okay. Sure.
You don't know shit right now.
Yeah.
No.
You
no,
know
I
shit.
don't.
Michael does not know shit.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
Um,
if Michael is showing up at the office now, at like the
Mhm.
Bjorn office, everybody's sitting around. Leo is on the phone. Sounds like probably talking to the police about disappearances and the fact that there were disappearances before the first time y'all ran into the brew.
Ika's playing solitaire.
Vivian is
Salvador
watching.
stole one of the cards so that he can't get a full solitaire.
Where is it? I've gone through this deck 5 times.
That's just diabolical. Wait.
Has anyone seen the card?
All right. So to catch you up on what they discovered
Mm-hmm.
at the hoof prints.
Oh yeah, my notes for tonight are gonna be shit.
It's okay. I mean, you could always rewatch the VOD.
Yeah.
Or get a transcript of the VOD.
Yeah,
YouTube will do that sort
yes.
of.
I can get the TLDR.
But they were up there. Hoof prints. The trackers had tracked to a campsite. Campsite had been recently abandoned. They found a little fire pit, a lot of discarded bones. The tracker did not, off the top of his head, recognize the bones. Back when he found them, the police already had them at this point. The police have got experts coming in to identify them.
Yeah.
He didn't say that he thought they were people bones, but he seemed a little concerned about what he thought they might be. The trackers had managed to follow them up north to the edge of the water, where there were brew prints. There were people in nice shoes, or prints of people wearing nicer shoes, just based on the shape of the soles, you assume.
Yeah.
And like a large rowboat had been pulled up, with a flat bottom. Maybe rowboat ain't quite the right word for it, but something that would hold 6 to 8 people. And then there was some discussion about where they could have gone from here, and could there have been a bigger ship? Could they have been going to one of the islands in the lake? All kinds of stuff. Dorothy had a new camera. She was taking pictures of all the prints. And then she needed to get back in time to get ready for her date. On the way back, somebody grabbed a paper, saw that there were being disappearances up in the Highlands Park area.
As Doc gets off the phone with the police, they're probably like, "Okay, well, have fun, guys. Don't do anything stupid."
Who are you talking about? What is Salvador doing?
I'm mocking the police.
Oh. Why are you going to mock the police? They're there to protect and serve. At least in that part of town, they are.
Oh.
Just that part of town.
Your move, creep.
that what it says? So are we clear to do stuff, or do they want us to run it by them first, or?
That didn't really come up in the conversation. Leo was just giving them the information, what y'all had, what y'all
Oh,
were thinking.
sorry. I didn't know that was going to be an option. I'm sorry.
I mean, they knew y'all were hiring the trackers because they were the ones that gave you the list of trackers that you could potentially, use.
Because we were talking, and then we found out Eric barely dodged a tornado. So
Yes, a little bit
Yeah.
distracting. A little bit distracting.
Sure. I'm just moving the plot along.
yeah, one of the things, if that's sorry,
You're
that would
good.
be one of the things we are letting them know that we will be doing more investigations in that area.
The guy on the phone seems to be perfectly okay with that. Oh, somebody else is going to investigate the monsters. Cool.
We don't have to. Oh hell yeah!
Let's see.
All right. Well, if we've got the clearance, and we'll do it.
Yep.
You at least haven't been told not to look into it.
Hey, better to ask. Better
Yeah.
ask for forgiveness, even though we halfway asked for permission. Okay. So do we want? I hesitate to say it, but do we want to split off into pairs, threes, something?
Let's split up, gang.
Let's not split up without a plan.
Yeah, let's get a plan of if we are splitting up, what the other groups would be investigating. Like, what do we need to find that quickly?
It is a large area,
Yes.
but I can cover a lot of it, but I can't cover all of it. Also, holding a rifle, aiming a rifle in the middle of the street, probably not a great idea.
Generally not. Generally not.
It's probably not the worst idea Salvador's had.
It's up there.
But if going alone is out of the question. But if we want to pair up, maybe have be within whistling distance. That's what
We need at least have a small team.
Yeah, but that's the thing about having a small team is that a small team will eventually become too big and scare the person off.
Sorry.
She looks over. You two know more about like tracking and stuff like that than I do, so I will let you two decide. Pointing at Salvador and Leo.
I'm okay at it.
Okay, you guys are the ones that are good with the guns, so you get to
That's true.
decide.
I am not my brother. I am not good at tracking.
I can shoot a little pistol, but not anything useful like that.
Why don't we? And he looks at Doc. Why don't we split up between these two? Two sounds good. Parties, and we can lend our expertises just in case one goes sideways.
There's 5 of us.
I'm saying one group has Salvador, one group has.
Yeah. And another thing we could do, if we have that option, Jason,
Mhm.
is it possible to hire those trackers again, or at least one of them? Because they'd have more expertise than we would. Specifically, they would also know the terrain. No, we're going to be investigating in a city area. I'm sorry. Never mind.
Yeah, I was about to say,
We're going to be in a more urban environment.
They
so
could pull their
probably not.
dogs out,
Yeah.
but yeah, urban, you're talking about a lot of extra smells and stuff and harder to track. But yeah, they're absolutely available to be hired if y'all do need them or something.
Not they. Yeah.
I mean, assuming that y'all's checks cash.
Sure.
Yep.
All right, so y'all are in the office. How are y'all gonna, start investigating? Are you heading out to the area?
I think so. I think
that's-
that's step one.
Let's head out. Well, head out's the first thing you need to do. So yeah.
All right.
Mm.
How are we splitting up?
The
I'll take one or
article you
two.
saw, there are 4 missing people that it remarks on.
I can take one or two. Leo can take the other one or two.
Yeah.
Now, two of them were a married couple.
Okay.
Okay.
One of them's
Does
probably
it
just
say-
collateral.
Does it say if they were taken at the same time?
Yes, it's Liam Brown and Amelia Brown. Basically, the neighbors hadn't seen him for a couple of days. When somebody went over to do basically a wellness check. I don't know if they
Are they
really used that term
human?
at the time, but
Are they all human? Is
All
it a
of these
mix
are
of
human.
human and strange folk?
All
Okay,
of these are human.
fantastic.
Yeah. Most of the area we're in right now, at least in Highland Park, is predominantly human.
Yeah, just quadruple checking.
A
And now
handful
we're
of-
like the first time y'all ran into the brew, people had been coming up missing, which is what had gotten the other detective
Involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
investigating. It'd been a lot of homeless people and kind of poor people.
they're
You don't have a
scaling
ton
up
of
their
those
operation.
in
Mhm.
Highland Park. These are all fairly affluent people. Michael's level at least.
And Tika's happy to go into whichever group they
Same.
want to add as third person with.
But yeah, according to the news, neighbors investigated the Browns' residence.
Mhm.
Found some damage on the back door. Like, not like the door had been completely kicked in, but like, maybe somebody had pry barred it open. There was some, according to police, there was some sign of struggle inside. Furniture knocked knocked around, that sort of thing.
Mm.
None of the neighbors report hearing anything. The other two, there was a Noah Collis and a Charlotte Longshore.
And these are fairly recent, like disappearances, right? Like within the last 2 weeks.
Yes, mostly
Okay.
within the last week. Like the Browns, they don't, they're not sure how long. They couldn't have been missing for too long, but they may have been
fact, you
missing
said-
several days before people went
Sorry.
over there and looked.
The fact you said longshore, because we encountered a longshore as one of the members of the union we were working with. Do any of these names match some of the members?
Was there a Longshore in the Union?
'Cause I believe it came up because Danny's was involved. So
I know it's the Longshoremen's Association is the name of the union.
okay.
And I may have referred to some of the union guys as longshoremen at some point, but I don't think I've used that name.
That just
Although that is a good question. Do any of the people showing up as missing in that manifest?
Oh, let me pull up the manifest in question. Oh, well. All right, so yeah, the list of names. I'll go ahead and drop them in the Discord chat. But no, none of them match up.
okay.
the top few names are relatively high up in the union, and then the rest of them are just union stewards. They work the regular jobs, and they're just people that union members can come to when there's a problem. None of them live up in Highland Park.
Gotcha.
Even the higher ups in the union, they're a little too working class for Highland Park. But let's see. So I told you about the Browns. Charlotte Longshore had gone to a department store. When she was, people noticed they hadn't seen her in a day or two. The police investigated. They found her car still parked there, and it looked like her purse had been dropped and kicked up under the car. Noah Collis just has not been seen. And he's, high roller enough that it's noticeable when he just disappears. No evidence he went out of town for any reason, and he hadn't told anybody he was going out of town. He just, leaving the business he owned, he told his employees bye, and then nobody's seen him.
Well, how do we actually? We know we're splitting up, but which group wants to take which area?
Let's.
Good question.
We can split it. We can split it down the middle if we really want to, and just work our way in. So
That's probably the better idea in that instance.
Somebody work from somebody work from here and come down, and we just kind of meet in the middle. And if anyone hears anything, whistle, or if you can't whistle, yell.
I feel like
Just
that's
go
a
you
quote
pick
from
up.
somewhere.
It probably is.
So y'all are basically canvassing just canvassing the neighborhood. Okay. You're getting lots of strange looks.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
first, how was the team divided up again?
See.
Because I know y'all wanted Salvador in one and Leo in one, so you have big guns.
Yeah. Figure. I'll go with Sarah and who else is? It's just and Teak.
Teak is like, you put me where you want me.
Teak and Viv, and I'll take Michael. That sounds good.
All right.
All right. So Salvador is with
Michael. We'll start on the north end, and then you guys can start on the south end.
Yep.
Because Michael has a. That way we also split. We're also splitting who has the vehicles.
So Michael's with which group?
It's Michael and Salvador, Leo, Vivian, and Teak.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also splits up the faces too.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that have magical sight.
Yep.
My magical sight's just not as good as everyone else's magical sight.
All right.
With this, you said this was the upper folk, right?
Mm-hmm. It's
The
the
better
upper
class
class
of people.
humans.
Upper class, yeah.
Would there even be a place for you to park a car that isn't on the street?
Free parking's a thing, or it was a thing back
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but in neighborhoods, that's not usually a thing.
We could also just go canvassing with the cars. That is an option.
well, we just park and walk.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So who was taking the north part? Who was starting in the north? Who was starting in the south?
I think Salvador and I are starting north.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe keep the guns concealed until.
Definitely keep the guns concealed.
Yes.
All right. So Michael and Salvador are not getting as aren't getting as much attention.
I look human enough until people see my ears.
Look at the ears. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Vivian's carrying herself with enough of. She's doing that snootiness. She's changed how she carries herself.
Think murder.
Think murder and lower class.
Yep.
I think it's also Salvador has Michael with him.
Yeah.
So it's just two guys with, for the 1920s, unusually long hair.
Damn beatniks.
I think this predates Beatniks by a bit.
I was gonna say beatniks.
Yeah.
and hippies
Beatniks
are...
was probably
Okay.
50s. They were 50s. Hippies were 60s.
Yeah.
Nice. They have
Looking up for a 1920s version.
1920s version of is what, like Draft Dodgers or something.
I still love this how the nomad thing from like the Fantastic Beasts is dumb because muggle is an American term. It's a 1920s term for a pothead.
There it is. We found it. Yeah.
All right. So y'all are walking along, and Salvador's getting a few looks from people that close enough to realize he's an elf, but
Yeah, it's orc and kobold. It's
yes. So yeah, Michael and Salvador walking around the neighborhood. They're not really being accosted by anybody. The Vivian Teak Leo contingent, on the other hand, Vivian, you keep having people walk over and ask you, is everything okay?
Oh no.
Everything is perfectly fine. We're just out investigating on behalf of the police in regards to the disappearances that have been recently happening. Do you know anything that you'd like to share?
You would use it to your advantage.
Yep. Love it.
Well, this fellow flubbed his role, so he has no clue who y'all are. Wow.
She'll probably have some of the cards that they had gotten made up.
Okay, if you hand him a card, he's like, oh. I thought you people were mostly just in charge of handling like monsters. Why are you investigating disappearances?
We're interested in the well-being of everyone of Abbey Shores.
because think about that.
rub your couple of brain cells together, buddy. I'm not there.
Wait, do you think there's a monster in the area?
We like to eliminate all possibilities. We're sure it's probably just something more mundane, but the mundane can be just as terrifying sometimes.
Oh, yeah, I remember reading about
Sometimes
those footprints they found.
We're just double checking.
an ounce of caution.
But and you have interactions like that. You have several of them.
She'll make sure to hand out cards and say, if you hear anything or if someone else mentions something, please don't hesitate to call.
I love that. That's some Aikido right there. Like, nope, this energy is going where I want it to go.
Yeah. Just imagine there's like one guy who's out there like working on a car, and Teek's like, "Oh, I like your car, sir."
Immediately goes inside.
It's
You hear the
fine.
door locking.
He throws the key. Don't bite me.
Wasn't going to bite you. I was just complimenting your car.
No, he'd probably turn around. Oh yeah, it's a. Oh,
Teek would rattle off the model.
I
Keep
feel
an
like
eyeball on that particular part, it breaks.
I feel like if they're constantly getting cost, we kind of think we get about halfway through and we're like, we should have met them by now.
Probably.
all right. I need. Let's see.
Hold on.
I need somebody in both groups.
Nope.
To give me. How would it be?
It'd probably just be Spot.
Yeah. All right.
I'd like
Both groups pick
to
somebody.
use listen. Okay.
Pick somebody to be the designated roller.
What's your spot?
Very high.
I'm not asking for spot. Not yet, anyway.
Okay.
Oh, so it's just to roll a dice.
To roll is something. I'll tell you what.
Roll
I
something.
see.
You picked.
Okay.
So Michael or Salvador, or Jeremy or Eric, who's rolling?
I'm quite perceptive. So if
Well,
you
it might
would
not
like-
be perception though.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Don't jump to any conclusions about what it's going to be.
I'm not jumping to any conclusions. I'm just going from what I think the role might be, but I'm not jumping to a conclusion.
Okay,
let's
so it's
see.
just Team B at this point, or
Yeah,
Team
right,
A,
yeah.
depending on how you feel.
Gotcha. I'll roll it. Look.
All right, so Salvador's rolling for
Okay.
Team 1.
Yep.
Who's rolling for Team 2?
Me.
Sorry, they're Team 2. Who's rolling for Team 1, I should say.
Oh, so
Are we
you did
doing
a
high
dice.
or low?
What are we doing here? Well, there's 3 of us, and you rolled a D100, and you told us nothing, Patrick. Come on now.
It's got to be hard to beat a 4, though. To be fair.
All right, so
Well, depends on if we're going low or high.
Teak, Vivian, or Leo,
Yeah.
just y'all pick somebody to roll, and then I will
I
tell
don't care.
each of you what you roll.
I mean, I'll roll. That's fine.
All right.
That
So we'll have Carr and Jeremy both give me luck rolls.
Hell yeah.
Oh god, you picked the worst person for that one.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Nope. Oh man, so close though.
Success! I don't know if that's a good thing for success, but hey, we got
All
there.
right.
I'm just going to roll one because I need to be amused.
Okay.
Do it.
Okay.
Damn. Never mind.
See, not that. All right.
you should have stuck with mine. That's what I'm saying.
Roll it, Patrick. Let's see
You roll,
if you
come on.
succeed. No.
Nope.
Some things.
The funny
All
thing
of-
is,
All of Team B says nope.
funny enough, that is
Luck is-
actually still relatively close for me. So
Well, let's see what happens because we are getting close to closing time.
All right.
let the semisonic flow through you.
Big Peter Griffins.
So the team 2 who made the luck roll.
Yeah.
You've made it about halfway down. I mean, obviously you're not covering the entire width, but this is a decent chunk of city.
Mhm.
But you have a y'all walk along, a door opens, y'all pass by, and a door opens, and a woman steps out, and you hear kind of the, she's in heels, so you kind of hear the coming up behind you. Excuse me, gentlemen.
Ma'am?
You're with the Bjorn, right?
That is correct.
Yeah.
I've seen you in the papers. Back in January, and when she points at Salvador, and I think you were shooting that water thing on the front page
They got
that
my
one
good
time.
side.
How can we help you?
We need like an FBI jacket that says like Bjorn on the back of it now. So it's
Yes.
Like ASB, Abbey Shores Bjorn. So we don't get confused with Chicago's Bjorn, or
Yeah.
yeah.
See the trouble, man.
I have a guest in my house that needs to speak to you.
Very well.
Okay.
Do they want the whole of us, or do they want just us?
You two right now. I mean, I don't know where your friends are.
About 3 blocks that way.
So she leads you back inside.
Mm-hmm.
I want to take a as she leads us in. I want to take a good long look in before I get suckered into a trap.
You're gonna get roofied.
Yeah, something.
And our detection is activated on a special.
Ooh.
We're gonna vibe check this lady as we're following her back to her house.
All right.
How evil is this lady?
Is this a Hansel and Gretel gingerbread house witch situation?
Well, I got a special, so I think kind of what we did last time was I get a greater quality amount of information.
Mm-hmm. All right, now why is detect aura not coming up in the search? Ah, there we go. All right. And you got it. All right, so what you get? All right, so this woman is healthy, benevolent or evil, maybe a little evil, like at that level of just self-centered, people.
Okay.
Okay.
Snooty.
Yeah.
Kind of like how the one union guy was coming off.
Yeah, kind of.
Evil parentheses self-centered, not actually not twirling a mustache.
I just put selfish evil.
It's my favorite alignment.
Neutral evil.
Weaker than you are. She's not like, her mental reserves are not particularly depleted or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's for like better, and there's like no supernatural effects on her or anything like that.
Okay.
With the special and aura detection, I will give you that you are picking up nervousness from her.
Okay.
But you're not sensing any real malevolence or anything.
Okay.
So Salvador, she opens her door and goes in, holds the door for you, and invites y'all in. Salvador, you look in, it just looks like it's a little foyer area, and you can see part of the living room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Just looks like a nice place.
Stop my bag and stuff. So
you walk in, she shuts the door behind you. And it's not just like a deadbolt, it's a deadbolt, it's a little chain thing, and And then she literally scoots a chair up under the doorknob.
Mm-hmm.
Ma'am,
Yes.
that seems
Any particular reason for that?
excessive.
My guest is just very nervous.
So are you.
So am I.
I'm a little nervous. Yeah.
That tends to
Gladys
lead to
is
more
kind of
nerves.
nervous too.
I don't normally invite strange men into my home.
Completely fair.
So I'm blocking the entrance so you can't get out.
I don't do it very often, so I want you to stay here for a while.
It's even worse.
Would it make you feel better if you stayed here and we spoke to this individual? That way, if you need to.
Oh no, I'll show you the room he's staying in.
Okay.
She walks up, takes you into a hallway, kind of knocks on the door. Noah, they're here. Then you hear doors unlock inside. He opens up. A very nervous-looking man. Oh,
Human?
yes, he's human. Oh, please come in. Thank you, Doris. You've been a real doll. He just sort of nods. And the room is like a little study. It's a room that's been turned into a little study.
Right. 5 check, Noah.
Just.
Noah
have
is
so many
health-wise.
tricks.
Noah's very stressed out.
Sure.
Okay.
You don't see them, but up under his clothes, there's clearly some bruising. Your abilities are picking that up, not,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe he's moving a little stiffly, but not anything too bad. Let's see. No internal reserves used up, so basically, not using his power for anything. No, he is weaker than you as far as as far as your pal.
Yeah.
He is probably not a nice person.
Okay.
Like, not just, I'm a little self-centered. No, this guy's probably got some skeletons in his closet.
So definitely evil.
Excellent.
It's not like full serial killer vibes or anything.
He's got skeletons in his closet. Who? Her husband.
Jesus.
Oh,
No, he's in the lake.
Also, every time you say benevolent and evil, I just think they're a trickster god because I think they're both.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, Michael does make a kind of like a low humming noise, and basically to get Salvador's attention. Since I had to run because tornado,
Yeah.
he would kind of explain how his aura sight worked and the things that he could see. And sort of in nonverbal cues he typically makes. So nonverbal cue to Salvador saying he's picking up something on this guy he does not like.
Mm-hmm. Salvador will just acknowledged, How can we help you, Noah?
He has failed the vibe check.
He indeed failed the vibe check.
But Salvador will speak up so as not to have this be a pregnant pause.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, that
Salvador will say,
hence the non-verbal cue. He just
Yeah.
makes a noise and that's it.
and he will say, "How can we help you, Mr. Noah?"
Okay, there's one more thing that you pick up on, Michael.
Mm-hmm.
He is wearing some sort of magical charm. It's emanating from something he's wearing around his neck.
Okay.
It's not super strong. Let's see. How much does that give you about magic?
A decent bit.
All right. It usually mix of several colors. Yeah, okay. He's not a supernatural being himself, but
Mm-mm. It's like him picking up on like magical items is just part of the normal if he succeeds. But rolled a special, so not sure how you want to incorporate that.
so yeah, definitely a magical item in his possession.
Mhm.
You get the feeling it's protective in some way.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then Salvador speaks, so there's not a pregnant pause.
Yes. It's like, how can we help you, Mr. Noah?
I think someone's trying to kill me. Or perhaps abduct me, which would probably end up in the same thing.
Okay. Salvador pulls out from like a jacket pocket, like a little notepad, and starts.
They tried to take me. I guess it was the tail end of last week. Well, yes, it was Thursday. And as he's talking about it, trying, he's reaching up and kind of, it's like he's rubbing the top of his shirt right here. Michael, that's about where your fit sends the aura. So it's like he's touching the necklace, amulet, whatever it is.
Jittering with a necklace or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what Salvador would say. He's like, okay. It's like he's fiddling nervously as he's talking about, the men trying to take him.
Okay. Do you have descriptions of them?
I think it was the Invisible Men. He starts writing off his description, but it's guys in suits,
Oh, those kind of invisible men. Sorry, I thought you were being literal.
No. Now in this case, as you've heard in a couple of other instances of people talking about him, these guys had it was just regular old hat, regular old business attire, but they did have the little bandana mask things pulled down.
The regular men.
Regular men.
But
Okay.
Beware, for the normal people stalk these streets.
But that can be scary down in the southern part of the city. But I had some charms on me, and I was able to escape. Unfortunately, I've expended most of them.
Do they have some sort of vehicle? Are they taking you by vehicle? Are they taking you or do you have a sense for what would have happened should your charms had failed you?
I don't know. I mean, if they could have killed me at the house. I was taking my dog, taking my dog out into the backyard when they made their attempt.
Oh, so it was right in this building?
No. Doris is a old friend of mine.
Okay. Whereabouts did this?
But we hadn't been in much contact for a few years, so I didn't think they would look for me here.
Very well. Whereabouts did this take place then?
I'm sorry. Speak up.
Whereabouts did this take place then?
He gives you the address.
Okay.
And like if y'all are floating around in the middle of the area, his place is like over here.
Okay.
He goes,
I know they've been taking others in the area.
Okay. So men in suits.
Yes, you've been operating in the city. Surely you've heard rumors of the Invisible Men by now.
Yeah, here and there, but
Mhm.
nothing concrete, obviously, because they don't. This is our first time seeing someone who's reportedly escaped.
Yes, I'm a little less hesitant to use unnatural tricks, or hire people that can do such things.
Match them at their energy. I get it.
I dabble a little bit myself, but
I see that.
I'll use your phone. Look, are you a practitioner?
No.
I don't know enough to dispute that.
Man's
He's
like,
not.
wait a minute.
Unless this guy's a psionic and you just don't know it.
Man is a walking. What is it called? Superstitious.
Okay.
Superstitious. Yeah.
But no, I think she's decided to eliminate loose ends.
Who?
It could be very dangerous, but she's already coming after me. So
If it's a
You-
Stella boss, so help me.
does Michael actually say that?
Yeah, out loud.
Oh Jesus!
He just goes.
Me?
Dude just stops talking and goes pale.
Lovely.
Do you work with Voss? He starts backing up.
No. I've actively fought against her on multiple occasions.
Oh, you should probably watch yourself then.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Uh,
I already caught one of the people that were trying to find me.
but yeah, I believe the Invisible Men are hers. I can't prove it,
Oh,
but
I
I've
can.
noticed many of I've noticed people who oppose her disappearing in that manner.
Yeah. Like the person testifying against her in court.
Yes, the the fellow that worked for her, I forget what he was.
He was a groundskeeper.
Groundskeeper. Yes. Wait. Oh, that's right. One of the Bjorn did work in the DA's office.
Still do.
Well, hope you do. Hope you have better luck protecting me than the police did that for me.
Don't know if we can be here for the entirety of the time, but we can make sure that nobody's at least in the immediate area.
Do you have a
There
safe
are.
house of your own, or
Kind of look. I look over at Michael.
I have a few areas here and there. Properties I own.
if I can set up somewhere, I can put some protections up. That might be why they had to wait outside, or maybe it was just bad timing on my part. But I need you to protect.
One of your homes enchanted.
Oh, big pardon.
I was kind of saying to Michael, I was like, so would you like one of your homes enchanted?
It's not so much homes as it's just areas I store supplies.
well, I'll take whatever. I just, I need to be safe.
Well, let's wait here for the others.
Very well.
If we're protecting someone, it's better to have more of us.
I can wait out. I can wait out outside for them and see if we can't flag them down as they're coming up.
Or I could. So the two of us, who has the better vision?
I did shoot somebody off the coast halfway into the lake.
True. But with who spotting for you?
That's
And he
true.
taps his eyes. Well, like
got
the
me
side
there,
of his
buddy.
eyes.
What do you see with
Special.
your special eyes?
All right. Well,
And he'll actually go and like keep an eye out. He won't like leave, but basically window looking for the other team.
Okay.
Yep.
So Salvador's going out in the street to try to track down.
oh no, Michael is.
Michael.
We
Yeah, 'cause-
swapped because
yeah.
Michael was the one that spotted me. So that's fair.
And
He
with
has
his
nothing to
aura,
refute that.
and with his vibe check still active, if anyone's coming, and he could potentially detect invisible men, as it were.
All right. So Michael is guarding the place.
He's keeping an eye out for the other team, and it's going to flag them down. And if anybody looks suspiciously normal, he's going to vibe check them as they go by, basically.
Everybody walking through here looks normal for this area.
We've been doing a lot of vibe checks.
Aggressive vibe checks.
All right. Michael, give me a luck roll.
Okay. Let me pull up my sheet again, because I have to keep turning it off so I can see the map. Success.
All right. Give me that vibe check.
Success.
So you're looking around and you're looking around, and you. It's hard to say because there's so many so many people in just business attire walking around. But you're pretty sure there's this guy. You're pretty sure you've seen him at least 2 other times walk by.
Okay. Clock him.
You do your vibe check on him. Oh, I'm in the wrong book. That's why I'm having trouble finding it. Okay. He's very healthy. Like very healthy. I don't think you ever vibe checked the brew.
No, power wasn't active then.
But you can't imagine them being much more evil than this guy. Like, it is alarming. And you deal with criminals and stuff on a regular basis. There is something not right about this man.
Okay.
His PowerPoints are fine. Mentally, you're stronger than he is. You're confident.
It's you said PowerPoints, and I work at a university, and the only thing I can think of is Office PowerPoint. His PowerPoints are fine,
but mine are superior.
His slides are immaculate.
I'm about to say, I have transitions.
There's also some sort of magical effect on him.
Okay.
Oh, and where was Salvador?
Salvador is not too far from he's staying with in the same room or in that like hallway space where Noah is, but
Okay.
he's like kind of peeking his head out to see
Okay,
what.
so does he see kind of where Michael's at?
Yes, that's more
All
what
right.
I'm trying to get at.
So I'll say spot wise, you watch him zero in on somebody.
What you see, boy?
Yeah, Michael suddenly gets very tense. And where he
Mhm.
was sort of doing this little number, he's looking at everybody walking by. He's like he's focused.
I believe I've clocked one.
Oh, joy! Where are they going?
Well, they passed by this house multiple times. If I had to guess, considering the stories your people tell about the brew, I don't believe they could get much darker than this man is.
And they know we're in here.
If you glance out the window, Salvador, he looks like a pretty normal dude.
He just wants to come in.
This is becoming
Will you-
sinners very quickly.
Will you invite me inside?
Black-eyed children.
Nope.
Uh,
Well, I trust your instincts. But perhaps we don't engage something that raw and evil ourselves.
and about that time, Michael, you spot which one were they? Team 1 coming down the street.
Lovely.
Oh.
There they are.
You want I should flag them down?
Go for it. I'll keep an eye on this one.
I got your back, and I guess you got mine. And I'll take the like minute and a half to like unlock the door. Kick the chair off. Or move it gently.
There's 2 chairs here.
Why is there a dresser all of a sudden?
How did you put that bolt in the ceiling?
I will exit the
Determination.
premises. And then I will just do a
There wasn't
low
a-
like wolf
Sorry.
whistle. And trying to get Team 1's attention.
Or maybe some signal Leo knows from your all's time in the military.
Yeah.
I'll roll a listen.
If y'all want.
No, if Leo uses, if Salvador uses some whistle that they used to use in the trenches,
Yeah.
that would
Just
catch
some-
Leo's ears without and you see Salvador
look
standing
over.
by the door on a stoop.
And I kind of nudged the other two. I think they found something. And I'll
Look around.
start leading our group over to the
Okay.
house.
Michael, give me a spot.
Mm-hmm.
Teak, you said you were looking around. Give me a spot.
Okay.
Yeah, if they're saying they're going towards a house, she'd look around too.
I
felt-
am also going to
Says-
activate my detect magic.
All right, so Teak don't see nothing. Michael does. Vivian does.
My detect magic does not go off, but I still lose the point.
Yeah. This is that minimum one. So Michael, the guy had been walking by, so he's further down, but he still seems to turn back and sort of clock the whistle when Salvador steps out in this group turn.
Mhm.
But you also see 3 more guys in suits that seem to clock that.
Total of 4 now, Salvador.
Great. All right, just turn around.
Vivian.
We're pretty far from the cars, right?
Yeah, we left them parked somewhere.
Yeah.
Vivian, you notice like several different people on the street kind of turn and look your direction. It wouldn't
different
be
kinds, or-
super noticeable, except
If they
they're all so much the same. Like their faces aren't identical or anything, but
Like a
if they
uniform.
weren't so normal.
Exact same tailored suit.
They're uniformly normal.
Yep.
kind of. It's not the exact same cut or whatnot, but it's so very similar.
Yeah. She kind of grabs the other two gentlemen by the elbows, or in Teek's case, the shoulder, and kind of like, we should move a little quicker.
Do I notice well, I failed my detect magic. Do I just do mundane spot in that case?
Yeah, just give me a spot roll. Okay. You're clocking all this as well, then. As y'all speed up, some of those men start changing. They don't run or anything like that. They sort of change direction. So y'all are like crossing the street to get over to this house, while these four guys are kind of,
Are they trying
moving
to
in
box
towards
us in, or is that what's going on?
I don't know about box you in. They're just kind of traveling towards you from whatever direction they were already at.
Understood.
What kind of spread are we talking about?
Well, team 1, is basically in a line crossing the street.
Yeah.
Well, you had, the guy you had initially saw, he'd walked past in one direction. And then somebody on the, somebody was coming, where they would pass each other.
Mm-hmm.
But then the first one turns around and is following with that guy.
Okay.
And then the other two were on the kind of down the opposite direction. Like if you stepped out the front, they're coming from the left. These other two are coming from the right.
Pincer. Okay.
Yeah.
So no matter what side of the street you go down, you'll still have to run into them.
So we will cut here with Vivian's group, getting to the stoop. And we will pick up next week with whatever is going on here.
Just whatever,
I'm sure it'll be a nice a perfectly normal conversation with these perfectly normal gentlemen.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
With perfectly normal civilians littering the streets.
And a
And
perfectly normal outcome.
And hopefully we don't have week 3 of frickin' tornadoes.
That would be
No
nice.
kidding.
I'd rather you have not.
Can you
jinxed us.
reschedule your tornadoes to like Thursday?
Can you reschedule it to Wednesday or something? Like
Jason, you can't say anything. You've already jinxed this session.
Yeah.
That was earlier.
I've got Saharan winds coming in, so who knows what's going to happen?
Mother Nature, please give us a break.
Hey, let me check the 10-day.
It's
But
not
anyway.
nice to mess with Mother Nature.
I was talking to Dad. It's like this has been an unusually active spring.
Yeah, been very, very rainy for a May too.
Mm-hmm.
People at church were complaining about having planted their gardens, just have the gardens washed away. And then one of them was like, "So I just replanted, and we've had nothing but rain since he said that."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed tonight. I've had fun. I really look forward to next week.
Of course you do.
But I hope anybody watching at home enjoyed it. I hope you'll join us next week. Again, I was your storyteller for the evening, Jason. And with me has been Carr playing Teek, Eric playing Michael, Jeremy playing Salvador, Sarah playing Vivian, and Patrick playing Leo. And we will see y'all next time.
Good night, everybody.
So tread with care and heed the sign. Abomination, Ali's line. For in the night the shadows grow and take with them your troubled